Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Elegance Lab. So, I just want to speak to consulting and coaching, their interrelationship, and why I use creative embodiment as a process for both. So, coaching is the response to basically the other side of therapy. Therapy, we want to move back into the past and understand certain things that happen and get the space to process them. And with coaching, we want to look toward the future and where we want to go. And of course, they're related processes, but coaching is really going to look toward what am I creating? What am I making? Who do I want to become? On the other side, we have consulting. So, consulting is looking at the tools, the processes, the styles of work that we're doing. You can have business consulting, design consulting, creative consulting. I'm more in the creative and design area, right? Where you're going to still live your life. You're going to still make the choices you're going to make. Your organization is still going to do what it's going to do. But you're going to have someone who's outside of the situation come and take a look and ideally help it make it move a little bit smoother. And so there are similar processes, but one is for uplifting a human and one is for uplifting a process, a product, an organization. And creative embodiment for me came from the study of design and the study of somatic healing. And design work and creative work is about looking toward the creation of, right? Whereas embodiment and somatic healing is about becoming more whole and looking at the ways in which past things and trauma and family dynamics and generational trauma has imprinted itself upon the body, and how when we work through that we can help release. And this is why I use the spiral that I do, help welcome in new patterns and new options basically for the human being to actually evolve. And same thing happens creatively. I hit a place with my design work where it was like, okay, this is a little bit oversimple. If we're not getting at the human being, if we're not getting at the quality with which we work together as human beings, then there's only so much that we can actually design or create, because humans are charged with purpose, meaning, the search for purpose, the search for meaning. And if we are not able to communicate that, then we get stuck and we can't actually work together. We can't actually find the pieces and the ways to mix and mold. This doesn't mean that we all have to have the same goals, the same vision, the same dreams, the same ideas, but it means we need a greater language to communicate around these things so that we can find the interrelationship and we can work across our disciplines, we can work across our differences, we can actually bring our expertise to the table. And this is ultimately where I think embodiment and creativity go hand in hand, because embodiment is going to bring ourselves individually into a process of wholeness. Creativity is going to bring us, fuel us collectively into the creation of new. And then creative embodiment is going to empower us to personally come into healing so that we can be in greater relationship to the collective, which is who we're creating for. Of course, one can create for themselves, but most creators, we are inspired and desire to actually create aliveness, understanding, knowledge, vision, action for the greater good in some way. We want to leave a legacy. We want to, whether you're just making a music album and you want to actually get to express something that's complex that you believe others will relate to, or be seen or be heard, or actually design something new in the world that the world can use, there's a tapping into a part of you that wants to make and wants to see change. And the final thing that I'll say on the creative embodiment process and my development of this process is, I was originally inspired by design thinking. And so design thinking was an adaptation of the scientific method. The scientific method is, we have a hypothesis and we're going to go through a process to actually figure out what is true, what's the correlation, causation, and then we've been able to design and engineer much of what our past generations would say is magical about the world through the scientific process. And with design thinking, it's an evolving method to get designers, engineers working together to actually serve human needs better and incorporate data that's not explicitly numerical. And so there's a lot of power and intelligence there. With creative embodiment, for me, it's an adaptation, even on top of design thinking, because design thinking is still oriented toward products. It's still oriented toward designs that have to do with human beings that are serving humans. Whereas with creative embodiment, I'm not looking at, it doesn't matter to me just a chair, but also a system, a system of knowledge, a system of curriculum design, a system of governance design, a system of an internal moral system, a system of the foundation that's going to construct like beauty in this home, in this environment, right? These things require the surfacing of one person's innate knowledge, intuition, courage, values, emotions, right? And can we start to bring those up to the surface? Can there be more space to work with those? So I'm not coming here telling you what is your moral system, what is your value system, what should you believe, but I'm actually helping surface this so there can be greater elegance in your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately have the fuel and the energy to be in service in the world in the way that you desire.